Alrighty, so it is 9 p.m. for me, which means that the news is here, and it is, of course, the Attack on Titan collab patch notes today, so I am going to be going over them in their entirety. Obviously, there's going to be some small stuff for, like, how to do events and stuff like that that I don't go over and everything, but overall, I would like to touch on stuff a little bit more in detail than we do normally whenever I kind of skim through the JP patch notes, so yeah, let's hop into this thing. So, of course, we are getting the new collab, which is cool. I'm still pretty excited. I know there's been a lot of negativity around this collab, and it's overall a little bit mediocre. I've heard the word mid a lot this week, so understandable. You know, if you're not going to summon, completely fair. If you do summon, best of luck. Of course, we are going to be, we're going to be doing live summons tomorrow night whenever the banner does drop on Global. So if you want to stick around, feel free to subscribe. You know, come by and hang out with us in the chat. We'll do some live summons, and we'll probably mess around with them a little bit in PvP as well. Maybe we'll mess around with some of the events and stuff as well. I guess it just depends on how everything goes. It is a normal 3-hour maintenance, so it'll be done around 12 a.m. for me. So I don't want to stay up too late, but either way, we'll definitely mess around with the characters a little bit. So, of course, we're getting a new Eren and a new Levi. They are also giving stat buffs to all of the old characters, except for the old school, like, SR Eren. He does not actually get anything other than he shares costumes and holy relics with the old SSR Eren, so I guess technically he gets a small buff, but nothing crazy. Yeah, it seems like Levi out of the two is maybe the more interesting one. I think Eren is kind of cool, but I've seen this Eren drop the ball quite a bit by watching the JP YouTubers and everything like that. So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to messing around with them for myself and making my own opinions on the characters and everything like that, as I think that everybody kind of should. You know, anybody can just watch gameplay, and I mean, a lot of the times, you know, gameplay is very telling, but, you know, there's a different feel to some characters and stuff like that. So, obviously, they're doing a coin shop thing, where if you end up getting, you know, a ton of dupes for any of the collab characters, you can swap them out for other units and everything. So, the banner itself, I don't think they ever show the banner in the global patch notes or whatever, but there's only, like, 12 SSRs on the banner, which sounds kind of like a lot when you say 12, but normally they shove as many SSRs into banners as they possibly can, so this one's actually kind of trimmed down a pretty decent bit, and considering that 5 out of those 12 characters are AoT characters, I think there's a pretty decent chance for you to pull, you know, units from the collab itself if you get, you know, a non-rated up character, which are going to be the two newest characters. So we'll see how it goes, I guess. I didn't watch too many of the JP players summons, but yeah, I'm very interested to see how it goes for myself. But obviously, we do have new Holy Relics. If you don't know what they do, so SR Eren and the old SSR Eren is going to basically start the match with 2 ultimate move gauge orbs added to their, you know, gauge. Which, honestly, he really needed more than that. I don't know why they decided to not do any sort of changes to the overall, like, character cards or anything like that, but yeah, the Holy Relic for this one, pretty mid, like pretty lackluster, like very minimal. Mika says, of course, I'm sure you've heard by now, makes her a PvE character, which is a little bit disappointing, but, you know, they tend to try to go in the direction more recently with some of these collabs where they try to make one character very specific to PvE, but it says, if all allies on the battlefield are human, increase those heroes' basic stats by 10% and damage dealt by single target attack skills by 15% for each participating human ally. So, I mean, you can put her in the back line, kind of like Nanashi, and then you can get a 30% basic stat increase, and single targets are going to do 15% damage, or I guess technically 45% extra damage. So, I mean, PvE stuff, barring, you know, demonic beasts, unfortunately, is going to be even easier if you have this character and you're running a human team, because most of them are very single target focused anyway. Red Old Levi is getting increased the hero's crit damage by 20% for every orb in the hero's ultimate move gauge, so, you know, as you use cards and stuff like that, he's going to do more damage, which is pretty cool, and he's a very crit-based unit, so, you know, that crit damage is actually going to come in pretty handy. The new blue Eren ignores 30% of enemies' crit resistance when a human or giant ally uses a single target skill, so it's good that they actually have the giant allies as part of this Holy Relic, because if you don't know, they did sort of like a buff for these characters like a day after they came out on JP, and they actually updated Eren's, and I was wondering if they were going to have to update that on on our end, or if we were going to get it as soon as the patch dropped, which it looks like we are going to get those buffs. So Levi's, on the other hand, increases the hero's crit chance by 15% for every debuff applied on all enemies, limit of 7 times. So the newer Transcendent Bond is going to be really, really nice to run with him because he just applies so many debuffs. So that'll be kind of nice. I think, like I said, the new Levi is actually pretty cool. Really looking forward to seeing him in the game. Obviously, we are going to be getting some new bundles and everything if you want to buy tickets and stuff like that for the actual, summons themselves. There is a Collab Encore guaranteed bundle, so you can get this guaranteed SSR ticket, which is going to be, you're only able to get one random SSR from the Attack on Titan collab here, so it's a 20% chance to pull all of the characters, which, I mean, it is pretty cool, I guess, but I don't know. It's since this is a rerun and there's 3 old characters, 2 new ones, it's a 60% chance that you'll get an old character, which, I don't know, maybe that's not that bad. I don't know. It obviously very situational. If you want this ticket, by all means. I think it's like $24 in like US currency whenever I get the bundles and stuff like that, which I don't really buy these anymore, but to each their own. I'll probably end up buying a small ticket bundle as well, just because I've been keeping at least one ticket from each of the collabs that I've gone through so far, so I'm gonna collect that as like a little collector's item. A couple of other small bundles and stuff like that here or there, pretty typical ones that almost look like just the festival bundles that we typically get, but they are branded as collab bundles now, so pretty standard stuff. Weekly subscription evolution pendant bundle, so you get diamonds each day and you get stamina potions each day. This one's actually not bad. Depending on the price of this, you get 30 diamonds on day 1 and 10 diamonds on day 7, and then 7 from day 2 to day 6. It's actually a pretty good bundle. Depending on the price of that, it could actually be worth getting. Post Tower of Trials battle menu revamp. So if you are seeing this as it comes out and you are not getting to this too late, just know that Tower of Trials ends tomorrow. Whenever this patch gets uploaded and pushed out, Tower of Trials is going to be gone. So if there's any sort of last minute things that you need to do, like a couple of floors that you need to clear or whatever, make sure you do so, because the whole Tower of Trials itself is getting removed from the game. They're still going to do event Tower of Trials from time to time, but Tower of Trials game mode is going to be replaced with just them having the Heroes Arena game mode always on the menu now. So a little bit of a weird thing. Obviously, some people don't really care about Tower of Trials that much. A lot of people were a little bit upset to see it go just all of the sudden, and now those rewards are just gone. But, they don't really reset it. They've only reset it one time, and it was... I don't know if that was just like a one-off thing, but everybody was hoping that they would do it again. Kind of a weird scenario that we kind of got put in there. After the Tower of Trials ends, Heroes Arena and Underground Labyrinth icons will be repositioned so they no longer overlap. So it used to be, every time there was a Heroes Arena season going on, it would just replace the Labyrinth one and then vice versa. So now they're just going to have a designated spot on the battle menu, so that's cool, I guess. Successful Operation and Mercenary Matrona artifact cards, which were previously available to acquire through the Tower of Trials, will now be available to purchase at the World Tree Memory of Nether Exchange Shop. Okay, so the Memory of Nether is probably the one that I would hate doing the most, and has like probably some of the worst rewards in it. So I guess if you want to get those cards, if you maybe missed out or you weren't able to get all the way through it, you'll be able to get those cards through the Memory of Nether, which is kind of cool, I guess. I mean, it is what it is. Event lobby improvements. Players will now be able to return to the same location on the event menu when entering and exiting an event through pressing it. So, I mean, small quality of life change there. And then they're also expanding the equipment storage capacity from 200 to 250. So that's cool if you want to have more gear. Completely understandable. We're pretty late in the game's lifespan at this point, and so there's a lot of characters in the game, and you might have a lot of gear for each of those characters. So your stuff can fill up pretty quickly. So the fact that they're expanding that seems to be a necessary move at this point. There is going to be a new check-in event. You're actually going to be able to get, I think it's four or five free multis worth of tickets out of this event. I think it's 4 multis from the login event here. You're gonna get 3 on day 1 and then 2 on so you get 3 on day 1 and 7, and then every other day is 2 tickets. And then there's special missions where you're also gonna get 1 multi's worth of tickets for the banner as well. So kind of interesting there. I guess with the festival and them giving out tickets for that one, and this collab being right after it, they're kind of going with the whole ticket vibe here. I think diamonds, you know, were probably the better option if you know, going by the player feedback from the festival was anything. But obviously, you know, collabs are pretty cool and they're very few and far between, and a lot of these characters, you know, it takes them forever to come back if they're ever going to come back in general. So, you know, free multis on a collab banner, I think is a very good thing. So obviously, like I said, we're getting some special missions. You do get a free copy of Red Levi from completing all of the missions, which I think is very, very cool. Actually, you get 2 multi... No, this is even more than that. How many multis are we getting here? Because this is 6 tickets. This is quite a few multis. This is several multis, because this is 4 tickets per mission. So, honestly, like a pretty good amount of multis, actually. But yeah, free tickets and everything, free copy of Red Levi, so that's really, really cool. They're bringing back the Attack on Titan Collab Encore World Quest, so this is just the story mode that they did. Obviously, if you've been a recent player, some of the newer collabs that we get do not actually have stories baked in anymore, which is unfortunate, but yeah, these stories used to be a pretty standard, you know, thing to come with collabs whenever they came to the game, but yeah, they're just rehashing the old one. From my understanding from the JP players that I've seen, there's nothing new to it. It's literally just a recycle of the old story that we already got, and then the events that we're getting as well are going to be the same as they were back then. I don't know if they've buffed any of them up or anything like that, but yeah, we'll look at those shortly. So accept the quest from the relevant icon and complete it to receive rewards, including collab lucky boxes. And then, so it looks like you can get a total of 10 collab lucky boxes here, 4 copies of SR Eren. You will get enough to 6/6 the character if this is your first time, you know, with an AoT collab. You also get a couple of free cosmetics for the SR and SSR Eren, the older one. So you'll get those here, a couple of small things, and then 10 diamonds, which is kind of nice there. Those boxes actually have a chance to get SSR pendants and Super Awakening coins, which are cool, and then some other odd rewards from you know, from this list here. Special bingo event is going to be going on. They are giving away a free, I think it's the SSR cosmetic set for the new Eren, so you can see it right here in this picture. This is the one that we're going to be getting. You're also going to be getting 2 collab Holy Relic boxes from this as well, so this is going to be one of the events that you're going to need to do if you want to grab Holy Relics for each of the characters, and then you'll get another copy of the SR Eren here for free, so you can kind of see the rewards up here. Pretty standard as far as bingo events goes. You know, you get tickets and everything, and then you can use the special tickets to claim specific tiles. You know, if you've been playing the game for any decent duration, you probably understand how this sort of thing works at this point. But yeah, 2 collab boxes. You get the SSR cosmetics for the new Eren, 1 copy of SR Eren, and then at the end you actually get a UR pendant, which is kind of nice, and then some random sort of like, you know, spread out rewards throughout the entire thing itself. They are bringing back Titan Conquest, which I think is really cool. I really like these game modes. They're very like cooperative, I guess, but on the other hand, people like do them a lot for the first like couple of days, and then as soon as people get their rewards and everything like that, people do not touch the game mode anymore, which is completely understandable. But sometimes later on in the update cycle, it's really hard to find players to actually play with on this unless you just have friends that you can talk into playing. But it's really cool, actually. It's like a 4-person game mode. You and 3 other people that you can invite will actually go head-to-head and try to get the most damage dealt on the Colossal Titan, which is pretty fun. There was a video I saw on Twitter of someone using the new Mikasa Holy Relic in the backline, and they basically just had a 6/6 ultimate Transcendent Bond, moved cards for the first like turn, and then used 2 cards to get his ultimate, and then 1 shot with like 8 million damage or something like that on turn 3, which I thought was kind of crazy. So I'm sure that will probably end up being a big strat for people trying to push for, like, you know, max rewards every single time. But the rewards overall depend on like how much damage you do to him, which is just going to equate to like you getting more exchange shop currency. So nothing too crazy, of course, but obviously the more you get, the faster you clear out the shop. 2 more of the Holy Relic boxes here. You do get a free SSR cosmetic for all of the old characters. So this is old SSR Eren, old Red Levi, and then Mikasa as well. So that's kind of cool. You get your last copy of Eren here, the SR one, and then a couple of just like, you know, regular rewards and stuff like that that you can grab as well. This one was kind of an interesting game mode called Titan Elimination. You basically just put together 8 characters, and then you make your way through these stages that are probably going to be very easy nowadays, and each time you would lose a character, you would have to sort of like, you know, swap in one of your other like reserve characters and everything. It was supposed to be kind of difficult back in the day, but I think even back then it wasn't really that hard, so the fact that, you know, the game has been power crept so much since then, I doubt that anyone will have too many issues with this unless you're like just starting the game for the AoT collab or something like that. It should be pretty easy overall. So you're basically going to get these tickets from fighting the Colossal Titan, and these are actually going to be the tickets that you're going to use to actually work your way through this game mode. Or maybe it's vice versa. Maybe you get these... No, that's what it is. I think you go through this game mode and you get these tickets so that way you can fight the Colossal Titan. So it's reverse order of what I said. But yeah, pretty decent. You get a couple of decent rewards when you reach the certain milestones. So you can see right here, you get a ticket here, diamond here, cosmetic here. So as you work your way through, you get a couple of different cosmetics. This is the other 2 pieces of the Levi set. Actually, I think you just get an extra cosmetic from Levi here. It's actually pretty insane, the amount of free cosmetics and stuff like that they used to give out in the old collabs, and they have just slowly shifted into this sort of, unfortunately, very pay-to-win aspect with collab characters where they don't give out nearly as many free cosmetics, and, you know, the events and stuff like that have been dialed back a lot, and they don't put as much effort into them. It's very unfortunate to see. I wish they would, you know, put more time and free stuff into these collabs, because they're supposed to be like a really fun event to get new players into the game. And obviously if a new player's like, hey, I summoned for these new AoT characters and I can't get any other cosmetics because they're paid only, like, that would immediately turn me off from the game. So I think that's really stupid, but I guess it is what it is. I don't make the game. So either way, collab boxes obviously have the same materials every time. You can actually use these collab boxes, if you didn't know, for any of the older collab characters that have Holy Relics in the game. So it should be every single collab character except for the 4 Stranger Things characters. Those ones do not have Holy Relics. But if you have missed out on any of the collab relics for any characters, be it, you know, from Mushoku Tensei, ReZero, KOF, whatever, you'll actually be able to use these materials if you're not summoning or you don't need the collab relics for a specific character for whatever reason. You can go back and make one specifically for an old character that you have. So that's pretty cool. Here's a little, you know, graph or chart for where you're actually going to be getting each of the 5 collab boxes. So that's cool. They are bringing back the King's Exchange event again, which is great because we literally just finished a festival where it was available. This is probably one of my favorite events because you can just exchange a whole bunch of like stuff that you'd end up stockpiling a lot of for free stuff. So like I get a ton of like rare pendants that I get a bunch of free anvils out of, and then you can also exchange them for cosmetic upgrades and, you know, just different stuff like that. Very, very nice. So that's obviously very good. They're going to be doing a boosting event as well. So these are the pretty typical things that they normally boost during festivals. Also, you can stop and pause and look at that if you need to, but it's all pretty standard stuff for the most part. New check-in heroes, so during the collaboration, you're going to be able to actually use the new Eren and new Levi as your check-in character, which is kind of cool, I guess, if you want to, you know, rep the AoT characters for a couple of weeks. And then they are doing new costumes for the 3 old characters, so because the old SR and SSR Erens use the same costumes, you'll actually be able to use this one for both. And then there's a new costume for Levi and for Mikasa. The new Levi obviously has 3 brand new costumes. I think his are by far the coolest, just because they went with like a really cool theme. Like he has like this vampire-esque looking outfit, he has like a knight outfit, and then he has like a shinobi sort of like ninja looking outfit as well. So I feel like they kind of like touched all of the spectrums here with this character. I think that, you know, one of these outfits is bound to appeal to somebody, which I think is kind of cool. And then Eren, on the other hand, gets this weird like suit looking thing, which is okay, I guess, and then like this odd barbarian looking outfit, which I'm not caught up on the anime or anything like that, but I don't know how relevant these costumes are to the character. I can only assume that these are completely like fantasy made for the collab itself. Like I don't, you know, obviously I don't think he's going to look like any of these outfits in the actual show themselves, so I can only assume it's the same for these, but kind of a weird choice for those. Obviously they are bringing back the old costumes for the original characters as well, so you can buy any of those if you need them. But yeah, because these old characters are only getting a stat buff and not like any of their cards changed or passives updated or anything like that, unfortunately, you're basically just gonna probably not worry about these old ones if you don't have to. And well, so technically they did change a couple of cards around, but it's basically just like increases to the skill modifiers themselves. It didn't actually change what the cards do or anything super crazy like that. So there's like a small bit of updates here and there, like the the actual damage modifiers themselves are updated, but it's they definitely could have done a little bit better. And then for I think it's this SR Eren, his other skill was a defense related stats decrease, if I'm not, no, I think it's the brand new blue Eren actually has a defense lower, or defense related stat lower card. They just buffed the card in general, so these three characters actually get buffs from that as well, which is kind of nice. So there's the stat increases for the old characters, and then we're getting one new battle event. So yeah, overall I think the update looks pretty cool. There's a lot of decent events and stuff like that, because this is sort of structured like one of the old collabs was, where they actually put in like 2 or 3 events and a new story and everything like that to go with the collab. So should be pretty cool. Like I said, I do plan on messing around with all of the characters and everything, so it's probably going to be a lot of AoT stuff this week, of course, and probably next week as well. But next week we should end up seeing what the next banner is after AoT, on JP at least. So yeah, we'll definitely be touching on that a little bit whenever the news drops next week on JP. So that is pretty much it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you made it all the way to the end, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys tomorrow night for for live summons and some PvP with these new characters and stuff. So I will see you guys then. Have a good night.